First off, I want to thank you all for the amazing support you've shown to the podcast. How many times you have started hours-long podcast and never able to finish, and when you went back, you find it difficult to connect with podcast. To avoid that, please subscribe to most advanced, featured, and accurate quick podcast summaries on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. It will save you from spending 15 to 20 hours per week catching up. It's a great way to stay informed while saving time for less than the price of candy in most places. Here's a rundown on Saudi Arabia's richest man, Prince Alwaleed bin Talal, on Trump's tariffs, DeepSeek, Israel, and Iran. Featuring Prince Alwaleed bin Talal by Tucker Carlson. Prince Alwaleed bin Talal is hopeful about the current state of the world, particularly with the Trump administration's clear vision for the future. He believes that Trump's momentum will have a positive impact on both domestic and international policies. When asked about the potential for conflict resolution in Eastern Europe and the Middle East, Prince Alwaleed bin Talal expressed his desire for a peaceful resolution to the Palestinian issue, which has been ongoing since the late 1940s. He also acknowledged that Saudi Arabia is aligned with Israel against Iran, which he described as a nation based on terroristic ideas that causes turmoil wherever it goes. Prince Alwaleed bin Talal has a personal connection to Donald Trump, having purchased the Plaza Hotel and Trump's yacht, the Trump Princess, from him in the late 1980s. He described Trump as someone who is straight and gives straight answers, and that their dealings were always good when Trump was a businessman. Prince Alwaleed bin Talal is a conservative and supports Trump's policies, particularly his stance on social issues and his efforts to reduce the U.S. deficit. Prince Alwaleed bin Talal expressed his confusion and disappointment with the woke movement in the United States, which he believes has gone too far. He stated that America leads the world and should lead in a more conservative and pragmatic way, rather than embracing the woke ideology. As a shareholder in various media companies, including Fox News, Prince Alwaleed bin Talal was critical of the media's shift to the left, and eventually divested from Fox. He has since invested heavily in X, the social media platform owned by Elon Musk, which he believes is the new media and a powerful force in shaping public opinion. Prince Alwaleed bin Talal valued his investment in X at over $3 billion, and believes that the actual value of the company is more than double the $44 billion that Musk paid for it. He expects X to become an even more powerful media organization, particularly with the introduction of new features such as video and payment services. As a political and social force, Prince Alwaleed bin Talal believes that X is currently the #1 media organization, surpassing even Meta's attempts to create a rival platform. This move is seen as a bid to compete with X and regain the trust of advertisers who had previously left the platform. Prince Alwaleed attributes the success of X to its commitment to free speech and expression, which has made it a haven for users seeking uncensored information. He notes that this approach has allowed X to become a major player in the new media landscape, with a valuation of over $44 billion. The conversation also touches on the topic of AI and its potential impact on society. Prince Alwaleed is optimistic about the benefits of AI, but acknowledges that there are also potential risks and challenges that need to be addressed. He believes that AI will play a significant role in shaping the future of various industries, including healthcare, finance, and education. When asked about his investment in X, Prince Alwaleed reveals that he has a significant stake in the company and is closely monitoring its performance. He praises Elon Musk's leadership and vision, saying that he is a bulldozer who gets things done. Prince Alwaleed also expresses his admiration for Musk's ability to streamline operations and reduce costs, citing the example of X's significant reduction in staff after Musk took over. The conversation also delves into the topic of Western Europe's economic and political challenges. Prince Alwaleed notes that the region is facing significant problems, including aging populations, bureaucratic inefficiencies, and a lack of energy resources. He believes that the region needs to wake up and adopt more pragmatic policies to address these challenges. Prince Alwaleed also shares his thoughts on the partnership between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, saying that it is a positive development for the United States. He believes that Musk's pragmatic approach and Trump's leadership style could lead to significant reforms in the country's budget and economic systems. The conversation touches on the topic of energy resources and the challenges faced by Western Europe in this regard. Prince Alwaleed notes that the region is heavily reliant on imported energy and that this vulnerability needs to be addressed. He believes that the Arab world can play a significant role in supplying energy to Western Europe, but notes that the region needs to adopt more pragmatic policies to address its energy challenges. In fact, he was able to negotiate the purchase of a plaza in less than a week. He attributed this swift deal to his ability to be logical and pragmatic in his approach. When it came to the topic of tariffs, Prince Alwaleed bin Talal thought that the 25% tariffs imposed on Canada and Mexico were quite high. He noted that the auto industry was already feeling the effects, with stocks down over 10%. However, he also pointed out that it was too early to judge the full impact of the tariffs. Regarding China, Prince Alwaleed bin Talal believed that they were a different beast altogether. He noted that Xi Jinping was a long-term thinker and that China's dynasty had been around for 4,000 years. He also pointed out that China had not yet officially responded to the tariffs, but that Canada and Mexico had already retaliated. The conversation then turned to the topic of AI and Elon Musk's DeepSeek project. Prince Alwaleed bin Talal expressed some skepticism about the project, wondering if it was possible to develop such a sophisticated AI system for under $6 million worth. He also noted that the project was still in its early stages, and that it was unclear what the ultimate goal of the project was. Prince Alwaleed bin Talal also discussed the importance of data centers for AI and other processing. He noted that many companies were trying to find alternative energy sources, such as nuclear power, to run these data centers. He also mentioned that his company had invested in Musk's AI venture and was backing him all the way. Prince Alwaleed bin Talal believed that the Green Revolution had diminished somewhat since the Trump election. However, he also noted that many big investors, including Bill Gates, were still pushing for green energy projects. Regarding Venezuela, Prince Alwaleed bin Talal thought that the US might change its relationship with the country due to its large oil reserves. He noted that the US emissary had recently met with Maduro and that Venezuela was welcoming. He also pointed out that Venezuela had the deepest oil reserves in the world, with over 280 billion barrels. The conversation then turned to the topic of energy prices and the impact of a potential US-Venezuela energy deal. Prince Alwaleed bin Talal believed that Trump was pragmatic and would want to balance the interests of consumers and domestic extractors. He also noted that Saudi Arabia was transitioning to a diversified economy and investing heavily in tourism and new minerals. Prince Alwaleed bin Talal discussed his investments in Russian energy companies, including Lukoil, Gazprom, and Rosneft. He noted that he had done well with these investments, despite the war in Ukraine and the global shift away from hydrocarbons. He attributed his success to his contrarian investment philosophy. He also mentioned that he was invested in technology companies, including Baidu, Alibaba, and Tencent, and that he had a diversified portfolio in hospitality, including Four Seasons and Accor. Prince Alwaleed bin Talal noted that Jack Ma had gone too far in his criticism of the Chinese regime and had been told to cool it down. He also mentioned that Jack Ma's whereabouts were not publicly known, but that he was shuttling between Japan and China. Prince Alwaleed bin Talal expressed his support for American troops staying in the region, citing the need for a strong U.S. presence to counterbalance the influence of China and North Korea.
Tucker Carlson pointed out that Prince Alwaleed bin Talal has no investments in North Korea, and the prince replied that he would need President Trump to introduce him to Kim Jong-un if he were to consider investing in the country. The conversation then shifted to Russia and Vladimir Putin.
Prince Alwaleed bin Talal described Putin as a very smart man who calculates his moves well, but also has an empire mentality and craves for the Soviet Union's former glory.
Tucker Carlson asked if China wants an empire, and Prince Alwaleed bin Talal replied that China's priority is to control its domestic situation and achieve economic growth, rather than seeking to expand its territory. The discussion then turned to the Middle East and the differences between monarchies and republics in the region.
Prince Alwaleed bin Talal argued that monarchies, such as Saudi Arabia, are more stable and legitimate than republics, citing the examples of Jordan and Morocco.
Tucker Carlson countered that legitimacy comes from the consent of the governed. But Prince Alwaleed bin Talal replied that people in Saudi Arabia are happy with their system and would likely give their crown prince a high approval rating if elections were held. The conversation then touched on democracy and its future.
Prince Alwaleed bin Talal pointed out that the idea of democracy is relatively new in human history and that many countries in the Middle East are struggling with it. He cited the example of Iraq, where the US attempted to impose democracy, but it ultimately led to chaos and confusion. Prince Alwaleed bin Talal expressed his preference for the monarchic system, saying that it provides stability and continuity. The discussion then shifted to cryptocurrency, with Prince Alwaleed bin Talal expressing his skepticism about its value and potential for growth. He stated that he would not invest in crypto and that it's not a priority for Saudi Arabia.
Tucker Carlson pointed out that many big banks in the US are investing in crypto, but Prince Alwaleed bin Talal replied that they are being forced to do so by their clients.
The conversation then turned to gold, with Prince Alwaleed bin Talal saying that it's not a major investment priority for Saudi Arabia. He expressed his preference for more traditional investments and stated that gold is not a priority for the country. The discussion then shifted to Saudi Arabia's reforms and liberalizations. Prince Alwaleed bin Talal praised the efforts of King Salman and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in opening up the country and promoting social and economic change. He cited the examples of women's rights, including the right to drive, and the incorporation of women into the workforce.
Tucker Carlson asked if there were any limits to the reforms, and Prince Alwaleed bin Talal replied that the government would decide what steps to take next.
Prince Alwaleed bin Talal stated that tourism is already happening in the country without alcohol, and that it's possible to have a successful tourism industry without it. He expressed his personal opposition to alcohol and drugs, but acknowledged that it's up to the government to decide what policies to implement.
Prince Alwaleed bin Talal found this notion amusing, quoting Tucker and saying it's good to be sober. He even went as far as to say it's beautiful to be sober, and he loved the idea. The conversation then shifted to the topic of YouTube suppressing Tucker's show. Tucker expressed his disappointment and frustration, calling it immoral and wrong. He emphasized that with all the changes happening in the world, people should have access to more information, not less. Tucker then encouraged his viewers to subscribe to his channel and hit the notification bell so they could stay updated with true and non-deceptive news. Thank you for tuning in. Please click follow button, and just remember, subscription is only $1 per month. Leave a comment or review. Until next time, happy listening.